there was ever a time in your life when you didn't feel you measured up as far as your own outward appearance?
All the time, since I was like 15, 16. I mean, no, I take that back, not all the time. I mean, but every day I struggle with it at least sometime in the day, you know, feeling like I'm not measuring up. And I think that's the problem, is that we compare ourselves to models in magazines and people on TV, and often those aren't even realistic. You know, they might have been through 4 hours, and I know this because I've done photo shoots, like 4 hours of, you know, beauty treatments with their hair and their makeup, and you know, got a stylist that's figuring out all their clothes and stuff like that, and or in photo shoots too, often with all the models and actors and actresses. I mean, sometimes they'll shave off inches, sometimes they'll color off any imperfections on the face and stuff like that, and so it's not even real. What we're seeing is not real, and yet we're comparing ourselves to that.
Did you know that by the time a girl is 17 years old, she's been the target of over 250,000 commercial messages through the media?
These advertisements and their influence explain the rising percentage of young women with eating and other body image related disorders.
Researchers have noticed the steep increase in unhealthy behaviors among boys as well, trying to meet unrealistic expectations about their appearance.
Movies, television, and magazines all perpetuate the myth that you have to be a particular kind of beautiful to be happy and successful in life.
Today we'll be talking about focusing on our inner beauty rather than the external beauty the media promotes. Hi everyone, I'm Jack.
And I'm Catherine.
And this is Realfaith TV. At the beginning of our program, you met Rebecca St. James, a contemporary Christian music singer and songwriter.
A Grammy Award winner and an author, her latest book, co-authored with Linda Hunter Bjorklund, is entitled She. She is an acronym for safe, healthy, and empowered.
Part of the book focuses on the importance of not getting caught up in the obsession our culture has with external beauty.
Rebecca will share a few of her thoughts on this topic later in the show.
We'll also find out how our guests feel about this topic.
But first, let's meet our teens on the street and find out how they define inner beauty.
The inner beauty on people shows who they really are.
Someone could be really good looking on the outside and be just really stuck up and have no personality, or it could be vice versa.
A lot of the girls out on this boardwalk have a lot of outer beauty, but I'm pretty sure inside they're not the prettiest person you know.
Then why are you even bothering? I don't get it. You have to be nice and beautiful.
I think that everyone has inner beauty, but they just have different ways of showing it, like different gifts that were bestowed upon them. Everyone does have their own outer beauty, but it's portrayed in different ways.
One person could think someone else is perfect, and you could think that they're a completely wrong person for you.
I think who you are on the outside reflects how you feel on the inside. If you think you're beautiful on the outside, you're beautiful on the inside.
The way you look on the outside doesn't really describe you. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
I don't really like to judge people by when I first meet them and everything. I always like to wait to see, get to know them.
Inner beauty is what matters. You can't change it. You can change outer beauty, but you'll never be who you are inside. I think it's all about attitude. I think.
Everyone has their own beauty. It's true. If you look on someone, everyone has their own beauty. Either it's inside or outside. Everyone has a certain kind of outside.
It's true. If you really think about it, everyone does have their own kind of beauty, but it's the inner beauty that's far more lasting and true.
Rebecca St. James tells us what her definition of inner beauty is and describes a couple of people who she admires because of their beauty.
Inner beauty is something that just shines forth in somebody's actions and completely comes from, I think that the truly beautiful woman, that kind of inner beauty shines forth from a relationship with God. And, I think of some of my biggest heroes, like Mother Teresa. She wasn't somebody who was necessarily model looking, but she was a beautiful person. You just saw Jesus shining through in her eyes and in her life, and she was such a hero of mine. And even my grandma, she's a total hero of mine and somebody who's just so beautiful, and it just shines forth. She's just got such a grace and a compassion and a loving spirit. And so, for me, I think it's been difficult kind of resisting that outer beauty focus, because you know, not only do you struggle with that as a young person anyway, but then from 15, 16, I've been having, you know, photo shoots and been on the stage in front of thousands of people, and so you feel judged to some level, you know, like people are sizing you up and comparing you to, you know, other people in the spotlight. But then also I'm judging myself, looking at, you know, magazines or on TV and movies and feeling like I don't measure up too. And so it's been a real challenge for me just in my life to maintain that balance of holistic beauty. That's what we're talking about in the book, is like inner beauty and outer beauty, not focusing too much on the outer appearance, because then that makes the inner appearance crippled, but just really knowing that God wants to recreate us from the inside out and beautify us inside.
I definitely agree that Mother Teresa was someone who had great beauty. I remember when I was about 5 or 6 years old, she came to Trenton for some sort of celebration, and I went to the church, a cathedral in Trenton, to see the mass that she was saying, or that was being said for her. And I didn't make it in the church, but I waited outside on the steps with my family. And when she came out, I saw her driving away in one of the vans that held her and her sisters. And she was waving out the window using both hands. And it was such a beautiful sign from her, from deep inside of her. You could just feel all the goodness that she had within her shining through her little wave. And I don't remember much from when I was that old, but I'll never forget seeing that.
That's kind of like a family friend of ours who, he's a priest, and everything he does is just filled with kindness and joy at living, and he really, it's just this exuberance that he has, and it kind of just shines forth, and he's just like the best person you could ever be around. It's just amazing. Well, let's meet our studio guests and find out how they define inner beauty and some of the people they find to be beautiful.
They are John, Anthony, Matt, Jessica, Katie, and Sarah.
So would you guys agree with Rebecca St. James when it comes to inner beauty?
Yeah, I definitely agree with her, because I mean, Mother Teresa, I mean, even though she's not what the media today calls attractive, I mean, just if you saw someone like her smile, it would really show just how beautiful she is on the inside.
Yeah, you know, I actually met this one girl, and she was, I'm not gonna lie to you, she was gorgeous. I mean, she was like a knockout. And I got to know her, and I realized that she was like one of the meanest girls I've ever met. And actually, every time we hung out after that, like, she would look less attractive to me. And I don't know what that is, but that's just, to me, it's like inner beauty. You could actually see it come out of people.
Yeah, like a lot of times someone who has inner beauty, they're gonna look a lot better to you because, you know, it shines forth. Like, anybody with inner beauty, I mean, I just think it just comes out, you know, on the outside. You can just tell.
Everybody thinks like, oh, well, they have to be good looking or that's it. Well, really, you really aren't gonna spend that much time like, oh, well, they look gorgeous. It's more of the personality that they have. And if that is not good, then
yeah,
you're just not gonna enjoy yourself.
And who are some of the people you know who you would describe as beautiful?
Well, I know at my church, there's a priest, Father Anthony. He was such an incredible person. Like, he was always so sympathetic and compassionate, and he was always at the church just waiting for somebody to come and like talk to him. Like, he was a great guy. It was really disappointing when he left our church because he was like a mentor to everybody. Like, he was just so nice, and you could definitely see God in him. Like, it was incredible.
I went to DC with some classmates this year, and we went to one of the largest homeless organizations, and the man who ran it was just, if you'd run across him in the street, he's one of the scruffiest, most rugged-looking people you've ever come across, but to hear him speak, he had so much courage and so much wisdom and so much respect and so much to say that was just like words dripping with beauty. You could just feel it in the words. You didn't even have to be looking or listening. If it was written, you'd see it, and it was great to meet him.
That's amazing.
Let's go back to our teens in the street and find out what traits they think describe someone who has inner beauty.
Inner beauty is just like, you have to be like secure with yourself.
A great personality, and you're humble, and you don't go around bragging to people, and you just have a good relationship with people.
Just being who they are and their personality, and not the way they look.
Nice person, thoughtful, generous.
For me, it'll be the attitude, you know. They're walking around like they're a snob all the time. Nobody's want to be hanging around them. So,
like, just great personality, and you know, you're beautiful on the inside. You don't judge others and things like that, and you're a well-rounded person.
Inner beauty is like good personality, you know, all around. So good personality. You can be the ugliest person in the world and have the most beautiful personality.
Inner beauty, like someone can be like, in someone else's opinion, the ugliest person, but have like the best personality, and it'll change how you feel about them totally.
Be nice inside. You can't be highlighted, nails, everything. Yeah.
I think like a good personality, like caring to other people.
I think a person's inner beauty is being themselves, not trying to be what everybody else is being at the time.
Everyone has their own way of being beautiful.
My grandmother always tells me about inner beauty. She's like, you're beautiful inside. Has anyone told you how special today you are? Well, you are. That's what she tells me all the time.
I think we can all agree on the characteristics of someone with inner beauty.
Yeah, I think we need to recognize and appreciate people for their inner beauty.
In the book She, Rebecca St. James notes that external beauty can be destroyed by accident or age.
External beauty does not grow. Rather, it deteriorates over time and is finite.
On the other hand, inner beauty is renewed day by day.
It is unaffected by time and age, since inner beauty shows the spirit of a person that is eternal and timeless.
This is what we need to focus on, and not fall into the trap of, as the old saying goes, judging a book by its cover.
Can you think of a time when you judged someone by their outward appearance?
Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. After you got to know them, did your opinion change?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I have a friend who, when I met him 3 years ago, scared me so bad because he reminded me of somebody that just had given me the willies and treated me really bad. But I let myself get to know him, and now he's the closest thing I have to a brother other than my real brothers, and he's so valuable to me, and he's really somebody inside who I can trust, and it's good.
I can totally agree with that. Earlier this year, I was on a retreat team, and one of the kids who was on it was this kid who, when I first walked into youth group, I'm like, I'm scared of that kid. Like, I don't want to know him. I just want to stay far away from him. And then I walked in, and I was like, oh no, we have to be on this together. And then I got to know him, and now he's like one of the most people. He's like the top person I trust with like stuff, and we got to know each other so much. It was amazing.
My situation's kind of the opposite. Like, I met a guy, and he was like gorgeous. Like, he was really nice in the eyes, and like I thought he was so perfect. Like, but I never took the opportunity to know him. Like, I really, really wanted to get to know him. And when I finally did, he turned out to be like, he was sexist, he was prejudiced, and like the way he acted around people and carried himself, it like offended me. Like, I was like, whoa, how could you act like that, you know? I was so shocked.
Well, if any of you guys ever saw the movie Shallow Hal, that's like what the whole movie is about. I mean, he starts off, he judges people on external appearance only, and then he gets changed and he sees people for who they are on the inside, and he falls in love with a girl because of her inner beauty and stuff. And after everything happens, he sees people for who they really are on the inside, and he's a much better person because of it. Although we need to try to focus more on inner appearance and the person inside, we must also not neglect our outer body.
In the Catechism, it states that life and physical health are precious gifts entrusted to us by God.
We must take reasonable care of them, taking into account the needs of others and the common good.
Caring for ourselves is part of our relationship with God.
It's one of the ways we respond in gratitude to God for His gift of life and health.
Next, Rebecca St. James talks about how we shouldn't misuse our bodies and how we need to find a balance between appreciating the beauty within and taking sensible care of our appearance.
I think probably the biggest area that especially girls and young girls misuse their beauty is in dressing immodestly.
Definitely.
And I think it's well and good to like take care of your body and try to look attractive. I think that's fine, like we all want to feel good about ourselves when we look in the mirror, but I think when you're wearing low-cut tops or short shorts or things that are way too tight that are showing every single curve, that's leading our brothers in the Lord astray, you know. And it's also saying something about us. I think a lot of girls don't know the signals that they're sending by wearing provocative clothing, you know, because you can say as much as you want, yeah, I'm waiting, you know, and I'm a Christian and I'm committed to God, but if you're saying something else with your clothing, guys are going to respond in that negative, lustful way. But I think there's a healthy place for, you know, having a little bit of makeup as a girl and you know, doing your hair and, you know, enjoying that without becoming obsessed about it. I think the biggest thing that I learned the longer, you know, I'm a Christian is that it's so much of the time all about balance. You know, just keeping that balance in there, you know, not just completely neglecting everything and wearing sackcloth and ashes all the time, but on the other hand, you know, really respecting what God has given you and taking care of it.
I totally agree with Rebecca. I think we need to find that balance.
Have any of you had a time in your life when you put too much importance on appearance?
I think everybody does now and then. You know, I mean, you go to your closet every day and you have to pick out a certain outfit and you think to yourself, how am I going to look today if I wear this or that? You know, everybody at some point has that.
Yeah, pretty much every single day. I have to think about how I'm going to look good to impress people and make sure that my outer self is looking the best and like even better than my inner self.
Sometimes that's not always the best, I guess. But it's not that you put too much importance on it, it's just that you kind of forget that your inner self is what really counts. I mean, like, it's really, you don't want to be looking like, I don't want to use the word trash, but like you don't want to go out the door in like rags and stuff, like she said before, but you do want to respect what God's given you and you want to look your best.
But I mean, it's not just putting so much importance on your own appearance. I know people who try and surround themselves with people who look good, you know, like they want everyone around them to look good as well, and they won't even associate with anybody who doesn't have a perfect external appearance. I mean, that's I always find it's better to hang out with people who have more inner beauty, although inner beauty and outer appearance aren't mutually exclusive. I mean, I have a bunch of friends who have both, but I'm just saying inner beauty is more important to me than outer beauty because those people are just more fun to hang out with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it's really disappointing to see, like, maybe not beautiful on the outside being excluded, you know, and they don't have friends like overweight people.
We must all try to recognize the inner beauty in others.
In recognizing this beauty in others, it's much easier to see ourselves as beautiful.
It helps to ask, how do I look? Not in the mirror, but to Jesus.
Let's go back to our teens on the street and find out if they think they're beautiful.
And what advice they would give to a friend who is struggling with their appearance.
Do you think yourself as beautiful?
Yes, I do.
I think we're all beautiful because we are so nice.
Outside and inside.
Yeah, I guess you can say I think myself is beautiful. I have pretty good self-confidence.
Do you think yourself is beautiful?
I don't know. I mean, I have friends and stuff like that, so I guess I have to be doing something right.
I don't want to sound conceited, but yeah, kind of a little bit. I think I'm not like beautiful, but I don't think I'm really ugly.
Do you think of yourself as beautiful?
Yes, but not on the outside. Doesn't matter.
We have great inner beauty. Yes, we do.
Yes. Do you think we're beautiful? All right, we're beautiful.
Sure, I think I'm beautiful. He said Scott's gay, I don't know. See, they think I'm beautiful, so I think I'm beautiful.
Everyone's beautiful. If someone was like having problems with like their inner beauties, they're struggling, what do you think you would tell them?
I would tell them not to care what people think, because then you'll let people get to you, and then that's what lets you think that you're not beautiful.
To be comfortable with yourself and find yourself and just, you know, be confident in who you are.
A lot of times helping with the outer, like they do it on TV all the time, like give people makeovers and it makes them feel a whole lot better, like brings up their self-confidence.
Just be yourself and it doesn't matter what people think of you.
Don't worry about what other people are like or how other people look. You know, just take all the positive things about yourself and work with that. You know, everyone's different. Not everyone's perfect.
I would just feel there's certain traits that are like positive, and then I'd make them feel better about themselves.
look into yourself and like find like your good qualities, like how you think you're a good person, and don't worry about what other people say about you or what you hear about yourself. Just like look at yourself as like a good person and like the good things that you do.
Just be confident in who you are. It doesn't matter what other people think. I'd have them sit down and think about what gifts they have and like what they could use them towards. Like if they have good people skills, and have them go out and use them and show people how beautiful they are on the inside.
I would just tell them to pray on it. That's all you can do. You can't look to anybody else. You and God, the only two who have the answers to those questions.
So, what advice would you guys give to a friend who's struggling with their appearance?
I would tell people that they should be confident. They should have confidence in their appearance, because people really respect the air that people can have around them, you know?
Yeah, and that's like confidence. I actually have a story about that, because a friend of mine has this girlfriend, and she's no Miss America, but he asked me, he says, you know, what do you think of her, like appearance-wise? And I said, well, does she really care what I think of her? I mean, she should just, you know, just have fun, just be herself, and that's that, you know?
She really shouldn't care, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right, and I think if you're having trouble, you know, feeling that you are beautiful on the outside, to surround yourself with people who are really beautiful on the inside. And then, because I know so many of my friends are truly just great people, and it makes me feel happier about myself in general when I spend time with them.
You see on TV a lot these new makeover shows.
Oh yeah.
When really all they're enforcing is that, oh, outside beauty is more important, when really these shows should be focusing on making your inner beauty a lot more better, because that would really change the person as a whole. Right. Instead of just saying, oh, well, we're going to give you a gigantic makeover, and then that'll make everything go better. Yeah. When really they should just say, listen, we have to work on your inner beauty, so that way you feel better about yourself.
There was some advice that Audrey Hepburn gave about inner beauty, and she said, for attractive lips, speak words of kindness. For lovely eyes, seek out the good in people. For a slim figure, share your food with the hungry. For poise, walk with the knowledge that you never walk alone. And for beautiful hair, let a child run his fingers through it once a day. And I thought that was some good advice.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Thanks.
Scripture tells us in Samuel chapter 16 that not as man sees does God see, because man sees the appearance. The Lord looks into the heart.
These words were spoken when Samuel was sent to anoint one of Jesse's sons.
David seemed the least likely of his sons to be chosen, but the Lord saw something special in David's heart.
How can we see people like God sees them?
Next, Rebecca St. James gives us advice on how this and prayer can help.
Well, it's something that I have to remind myself of, actually. That God delights in me just as I am, and that I'm extravagantly loved by Him just as I am. And I think often we're our harshest critic. You know, we're criticizing ourselves, especially when we look in the mirror. And I think that's something that I've even really recently been working on, is just going to God and just saying, Lord, let my feelings of self-worth be transformed into feelings of God-worth. You know, let me just know who I am in you and feel confident in that, like have that God confidence. So that's kind of my passion. Our culture is so obsessed with outer beauty, to boundaries. We're often doing so much, too much, and we're overwhelmed, and just looking at these and going, well, what are the lies that our culture has fed us, and then what are the truths from the Bible that can help us in these areas, because the Bible is so completely relevant to what we're going through today.
What advice do you have to teenagers who struggle with never feeling beautiful enough?
Yeah, probably just encourage them to not watch too much TV, not like limit the amount of TV that you watch. I mean, years ago I just started really not watching TV much at all. And you find so many better things to do with your time. And it helps cut down the comparison game. Oh, yeah. I mean, even just limiting magazines that you buy and stuff like that, I think that helps a lot. Really affirming yourself with Scripture. Yes. And just like I was talking about earlier, embracing your God-worth instead of it all being about self-worth, right. and a focus on you and how you're feeling, and that's what God's, I think, talking to me about a lot.
Cool. How can prayer help?
I think just conversations with God. Prayer is really conversation with Him, not at Him or to Him. Right. Sometimes I think we get into that mindset of I've got to go down my list, and it's all about me talking to you, God. But no, it's a conversation with Him. And I think some of my most powerful prayer times are when I feel that the most, when I'm just kind of listening and being with Him, and not really as much of an agenda. But I think prayer, it's like praise and worship. It focuses your eyes on God and not on self. So I think that really helps in that whole beauty balance, is having that a part of your life and focuses you on Him.
I agree that prayer is really important because it focuses you on God and not just yourself.
We must remember that, first and foremost, to focus on relationship with the one from whom all beauty comes.
Ask God for the eyes to see the beauty inside of you.
Do not neglect prayer.
Read the scriptures and contemplate the words of Isaiah. I am made glorious in the sight of the Lord, and my God is now my strength.
Avoid obsession with physical beauty, concentrating rather on good health and fitness.
Limit your exposure to the lies about beauty contained in commercials and advertisements.
Seek opportunities to encounter different kinds of beauty in nature, art, music, literature, and faith-filled people.
Develop your definition of beauty by relying on senses other than the sense of sight.
And finally, practice seeing others through the eyes of faith.
Was there ever a time you struggled to see inner beauty?
We want to know.
Contact us through our website.
The address is realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
And one last thought to keep in mind.
Our faith helps us to believe that each person bears the image of the Creator.
In every person, we can see the fingerprints of God.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on
Realfaith TV. God bless.
This episode of Realfaith TV was brought to you in part by the Pick Foundation.